Hello everyone! The channel has just passed 1,000 subscribers and I am so very happy about that. Thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed, watched my videos, left a comment or a like. I couldn't be here without you. I thought that to celebrate we could have sort of a build challenge. So I want to build with a budget. Every room is going to be worth 1,000 and I am going to be doing this both in The Sims and in Paralives. So you might recognize this apartment. I recreated the one that we have in Evergreen Harbor, which is the smallest apartment in the whole of The Sims 4. And I think that this is going to be a bit of a large apartment considering our budget, but I suppose we will see what happens. So of course we are going to have to use the cheapest appliances. I am expecting this one to be the room with the more expensive necessary items, so we're going with the cheapest. These are around like 200 and something. I am only going to be using like the vanilla game, so no items that are actually from mods. So we're going with the cheapest counters and this one the cheapest. Oh, that's nearly all the budget. I think that maybe it would be a better idea to have the kitchen over this way, because then we can have a lot more counters. Yeah, I only have 145 left and this is 120. I mean, I could do it if we use these and we don't actually have to pay separately for wallpaper or flooring, so we could get some more detail like that. I haven't changed the swatches, so I think we could get something a lot more interesting and less cheap looking. That doesn't look too bad, and maybe we can have like a more golden color for the handles. Also the sink could be a similar swatch, and we can get different handles, which is one of the greatest things in this whole game. Just how customizable everything is. I think I'm going to go with these ones. I also think that once we do the same for the fridge and the oven, it is going to look a whole lot better as well. Maybe we can go for some cream colored tile and matching flooring. How much are these worth? No, these are too expensive. Everything is too expensive. I guess I'm just going to have to get some like kitchen clutter. Yeah, these are quite inexpensive. I can get a bunch of these probably. I don't think there's anything that costs just one paradigm, so I'm afraid that this is the best we can do. The budget was a lot tighter in The Sims. I tried to use the cheapest counters ever, which looked awful, and I really wanted to, if possible, have an apartment that didn't look too cheap. But at first I did try to get the worst appliances and the worst counters, and then I tried the cheapest base game counters, which could have been a decent choice, but then I realized that the sink from Cottage Living was cheaper than just the sink, so I figured I could save on one counter if I did that, and I got the shelf from For Rent, which has some really nice clutter, and then I think I just got the swatch of this soap from the bathroom clutter kit that has a sponge, and that was everything that I could do for the kitchen. I only got some tile and it is functional, but it really isn't the prettiest. I'm really excited about renovating the whole apartment because especially this kitchen is going to need such a big help. Okay, so we are going to be moving on into the dining room. I think I'm going to manage to have a lot more items in this room than in the other ones. So maybe we can go with this table, and I'm hoping there's some chairs that aren't too expensive but that look alright. Maybe these ones, it's a completely different style. Okay, maybe these ones. They are a bit more expensive. Maybe I shouldn't be feeling confident, but I am. I'm going to try to get them to match this table. I'm going to put a rug underneath this, so it's going to look alright. We're going to need a very cheap rug. Yeah, I guess the customizable one is our best bet. I really like this new painting that they added, or like a design. I'm not sure if this one is supposed to be a painting or if it was always meant to be a rug, but I really like it for rugs, so okay, I think that looks nice. It even matches the colors. maybe a plant would be a good idea. Maybe I could get this one that is just a little bit more expensive, and maybe some kitchen clutter. Okay, these napkins are only 9, so we're getting those, and we still have a little bit of money left. I have 219. I suppose I could always get a bookcase, and that would be functional as well as decorative. I think maybe we should get some wall art. We could definitely paint this wall. Maybe just a slightly textured wall would be fun. Okay, I like that, and we have 15 more, so I cannot get a plant. Maybe I could get a trash can if we got rid of this plant. And now we have 23, so I could get another plant. I got a very similar texture for the walls, and thankfully this one isn't expensive. I actually did get a table from Eco Lifestyle, which was pretty cheap and decent looking. I got chairs from Businesses and Hobbies, which matched, and I also got a bookcase from that pack. I made a rule that I cannot use anything that is free, so if something costs 0 simoleons, I cannot use it. Debug items were completely out of the question. I did, however, get a flower print from Enchanted by Nature, and I was able to get a little console table, so that one was only 55 simoleons. So that's one furniture piece more than I got in The Sims. And I also got a wall decoration from For Rent, which matched the colors pretty perfectly, and I just got a mug and the Bridgerton leaflet. Okay, so this is the cheapest couch. We can definitely make that one bigger. How about armchairs? I do want a TV though, or at least a stereo, so this one is 120, 150. These are a lot cheaper. Maybe this is ours, and I still have 220. We can get some music and potentially a rug and maybe some wall decorations. So if we go with the same colors that we have been using, we can get something like this, which is not too bad, and we can even get a different texture. Wonderful. We can make the television larger, the radio as well, so it fits this space a bit better. I hope this looks intentional and not like I have no money to do any of this, but what we could do would be to get some of these wall decorations, and that way we have something on the wall, which I think is even cheaper than using the paintings. Okay, I think that's nice. We still have 52 paradigms, so maybe we can get some more clutter. Yeah, just this basket, and we can paint the wall. Okay, that looks a lot more full. These are too expensive. A painting would be less expensive than this. The cool thing about these is that they are all worth the exact same. Maybe the flowers are nice. And we have enough money for a plant or something. We can make this one smaller so that it looks less empty, and add a plant in the corner. That doesn't look too bad sized up, and we can actually get this texture that I gave it for some other build, and now it looks a lot more interesting. Now in The Sims, I tried to get a living room that looked cozy. I tried to get this couch at first from Eco Lifestyle and this chair from High School Years. I thought maybe I wouldn't keep it, so after a while I changed it for the one from Horse Ranch, but I definitely wanted a TV. I thought that it would be cheating to use the TVs from Eco Lifestyle because those are only 10 simoleons. So I got this one that was a little bit more expensive, and I switched the couch for a base game one. I didn't want to use the Eco Lifestyle stuff that looked recycled, but I did get the cheapest shelf in the game, and I raised the TV so that it looks like it is on that shelf, and it fit perfectly. It also has some plants, so I didn't clutter it, but it doesn't look empty, and I changed the rug for these ones from Snow Escape. I believe those are 15 simoleons each, and in this blue I thought that it matched the couch, and I got a picture of a tarot card from Life and Death. I picked a swatch that didn't look necessarily like it was from tarot, and I think that this living room is actually equivalent to the one in Paralives. Let's move into the studio. I'm really hoping we're going to be able to include a few skill building items. This easel is a lot more expensive than our budget, so we're getting the cheaper one and maybe the cheapest desk. No, I think this one looks a lot better. The next one is a lot more expensive, so I do not think that would be wise, but we can make it bigger. And let's see what we can do for a rug. Maybe we can do another custom one. We can actually get a computer. This one actually matches that rug. Can we get some clutter? Maybe it would be a better idea to get window coverings, or do we just not care about curtains? Maybe we do not care about curtains, because that way we can actually get books. Oh, we can actually get some of these. We can also get this one. And that is it for our budget. That wasn't great. We can possibly also get this wall texture here. This wall is just tragically blank. Now, in The Sims, the studio was probably the hardest room to furnish. I did manage to get a decent looking desk. I got this one from Dream Home Decorator. I got the same chair that I was using in the dining room. And I wanted to have an easel. I remember that maybe we had a cheaper one than the one that came in the base game, so I got this one from an event. And I did save a little bit of money, but it wasn't enough to buy a computer. I did, however, manage to add another activity, so I got this journal and I got a pencil cup, a water bottle, and an organizer from the Comfy Gamer kit. I believe I kept this rug from the Sleek bathroom kit, and I managed to get another activity. I got the knitting basket. I also thought that it would be interesting to have a decal or something on that blank wall. I didn't manage to get anything in the Paralives version, so I actually got these sketches or studies from the Artist Studio kit. Okay, well, let's go into the bedroom. Maybe this space would be great for some clothing items. Maybe this built-in one would be a better idea. It does look fuller, but we can actually save some money if we get this one. We can save 15 paradigms, which is not a lot, but it is something. Also, I discovered that there's different versions of the clothing, so we can actually get a different one. Maybe this darker one looks a bit less repetitive than the others, or at least less obvious. We're lucky that the cheapest bed is kind of cute, and the double bed costs the same, so I think we can get our own custom swatch, so let's get it to match the other rooms in the apartment. Okay, I don't think that's too bad, and maybe we can get the same rug. If you change the swatch, you can actually get rid of the pattern, which can be useful. And we need at least one bedside table, and maybe we can get a plant. I would like to get a plant. Actually, the bedroom so far is probably our cheapest room. Maybe we can get a lamp. That should not be exciting. Maybe we get this one. I still need a mirror and maybe a dresser or something. We could definitely get curtains here. We can get these custom ones. They are cheaper. I have no idea if any of these are going to look decent, but we can try. I don't really like any of these, but maybe we can go with these checkered ones. Let's see what the cheapest mirrors are. These are all worth the same, so we could even get a dresser and maybe even a chair. So I think we should do that. We still have a bunch of money left, so we can get a larger plant. That is very exciting. Maybe just a pile of clothes, some shoes possibly, shopping bags, a laundry basket that takes up a nice amount of space, and maybe just a little decorations. For The Sims, I got this bed from High School Years, which is probably the nicest looking of all the cheapest beds. I found a swatch that I thought matched the colors that I had been using all over the apartment, and especially the texture that I was using on the walls. I thought about getting a clothes rack, and I actually did keep it, but I didn't get one that has 2 spaces to hang clothes. Those are each 100 simoleons, so that was actually quite expensive. I got the rug from the Comfy Gamer kit, and I was thinking that I was going to use this bedside table from City Living that looks like suitcases stacked on top of each other. I like that one because it looks like it adds a bit more detail and storage. Actually, I did change the rug for this one from Horse Ranch. I chose to have a plant from Dream Home Decorator. That one is 30 simoleons, and I got the cheapest full body mirror. That one is 40 simoleons, and I was able to actually get one bedside table, a lamp, and then I I thought I might get that shelf from Eco Lifestyle, but I didn't keep it because it does not look like it has enough storage for clothes. So I got this other clothes rack from Horse Ranch that has a couple of drawers. And just to get something on the bedside table, I got some cards from Seasons. They are the ones that children can draw. And then I just got a poster on the wall from Snow Escape. I didn't manage to get a dresser in here. It is still a functional bedroom. Now we only have the bathroom left to do. I think we should start with the shower because that's probably our most expensive item. Okay, so we can actually get a shower and a tub, which I wasn't expecting to, but that is really nice and it fits perfectly. I got the same counters as the ones from the kitchen, and that way we can use the cheapest sink. I don't mind using the cheapest toilet, because that way maybe we can get a more interesting mirror. That might be a waste of money, so I'm going to get the same mirror. We don't need a different one, especially because I do want to add some clutter, and that might get pricey. These are all pretty cheap, so that is great news. This might actually be the most cluttered room in the whole apartment. We can even get a toilet brush and a shower curtain. It's going to have to be this custom curtain again. We can get the art print, and there is still some money left, so maybe some artwork. I can't afford any rugs. Okay, I like that. It feels in this space a bit better. And I only have one paradigm left. In The Sims, I thought that this bathroom would probably just have a shower, and I ended up just using the cheapest shower ever, which is this wall-mounted one. I did get a curtain, so it looks decent. I tried to use a toilet that wasn't the cheapest one, but that didn't actually end up working out. I also didn't manage to keep this sink or this mirror, but I was able to have a hand towel, and I did get a very cheap mirror. But I then remembered that the Sleek Bathroom Kit actually has one item that has both the soap and toothpaste as well as toothbrushes, so I got that. I didn't manage to have a normal toilet paper roll, and I got this soap from the Bathroom Clutter Kit. I raised it up so that it looks like it is mounted on the wall, and I also got a toilet brush. Let me know what you think, and which game do you think has the better apartment. I am going to be renovating both versions, so stay tuned for that. Let me know if you want to get this first version from the Sims apartment in the gallery. I can upload it if you want, or I can just upload the renovated version. On the gallery, this was actually under 10,000 simoleons, and here you can see which packs I used. I tried not to use too many, but that really wasn't the challenge. So anyway, thank you so very much for watching. Thank you so much to my subscribers. I am so happy to have hit this milestone. Let me know if there are other challenges you would like to see me attempt, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye!